What happened in the world of crypto? Well, here to talk with me about this is Peter Gantner from Trubadger. Peter, welcome back to another episode of This Week in Crypto.
Thank you for having me, Bob. Excited to be here. Man, has it been a week in crypto, and things are definitely happening at just an amazing speed. The people that are getting involved with things that are going on with it. It's exciting to be here to talk to you about it today.
All right. So one of the exciting things that's happening is happening in of all places, Wyoming.
Yes. Yeah, Wyoming is actually on its way to becoming a leader in the U.S. in regulatory side of crypto. So they've already approved 3 crypto banks out of Wyoming. One of them is the exchange Kraken. So those have already been approved and they're going through the process. But one of the neat things that they've done recently is begun to allow for DAOs to be formed in the United States. They're the first one to do that. For the audience that's listening, a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, which means a traditional corporate structure, an LLC, a corporation. An LLC, you would have unit holders, right, members, and in a corporation, you have stock. Well, in a DAO, it's a membership. And of course, in this case, it would be the token holders, right? Or the coin holders, if it's a coin that have been issued, that would actually be the owners, the benefits of anything that's done within that structure. And the way to become a DAO is the token holders or the members of this decentralized autonomous organization need to have authority on the direction, the way that this entity is run. So Trubadger is one of the early companies that are forming as a DAO in Wyoming. That is our goal. We're already in the process of doing that. And what that means is we'll be what's called a managed DAO, which means I'll be the manager of it, which once we get everything set up, the token holders will have a vote on whether I'm that person. If they vote and confirm that I am that person, then run the day-to-day operations, continue to move things forward. When it comes to distributions, or it comes to, big software initiatives or budgets, things like that, those will all be voted on by the DAO, by the token holders. So it's a neat way for people to begin to have a say so. In normal corporations, right, you're a shareholder. Maybe if you're Carl Icahn and you own a big amount, you can push them around. But for the most part, with corporations, it's the management that makes all the decisions, and you're a shareholder. With these DAOs, it will be the members that will determine a lot of those decisions. Some will be made by management, but a portion of those will be made by the holders, and those holders can then replace the lead management if they don't like what's going on and the direction that it's heading in. So this is a new frontier, and it's very interesting to see that instead of just maybe being a shareholder because you like the product, now you can get involved in entities where you can have that ability to help move it in the direction that you want. So being in, we've got a lot of people that are getting involved in companies because they're doing good in the world, right? So Tom Shoes, those type of things. Imagine those being formed as DAOs in the community, even having a bigger impact, because the token holders would decide what charities that the funds go to, or how those are distributed, or how those are done.
Yeah. So this news coming out of Wyoming, it's not necessarily new. They've been working on becoming sort of the cryptocurrency haven for at least since 2017, if not longer, putting in place laws that allow crypto and blockchain companies to come to Wyoming. Any thoughts about why Wyoming?
I think they, heavily in minerals and that type of stuff, and they were looking for what's going to be the next, right? So we look at Delaware and Vegas or Nevada as the corporate things, right? And they've brought in a lot of revenue through those. Wyoming saw the vision and said, wait, this crypto thing is here. It's going to stay. It's going to be huge. So instead of leaving that to Delaware and Nevada to take the lead and become the big players there, they thought, well, if crypto is going to be, and the blockchain is going to be the future, then we should be the first state to start moving forward with that. And they made the right decision. We'll talk about a lot of the things going on in the news right now. And if you really look at it from a standpoint of something is as strong as the people that are getting involved with it, well, then the people getting involved in the blockchain and cryptocurrency right now is just about every major corporation in the world. So they made the right decision. Of course, we know states and legislators and stuff move pretty slow. So in order to enact and be in business right now, you needed to start in 2017, right, to push through it. So they are the leaders right now because they're the first to adopt in this space. And I think they'll stay the leaders because of this, them having that the foresight to get involved with it in the early days of developing this.
Yeah. So you mentioned major companies. Hardly a week goes by when a major company isn't making some sort of news and waves in the world of crypto. Want to walk us through some of what some of the major companies do?
Palantir, which is a publicly traded company, Peter Thiel's company. They just are going to now start accepting payments in crypto. Here's the neat part about it, though, is they're not going to use that to run the company. They're actually going to acquire it or put it aside as an asset to hold on to. So they'll still use that fiat currency to run the day-to-day operations. But what they're talking about is whatever they get paid in Bitcoin, they're just going to stick aside. Now, I don't know if you're sticking something aside, you've got to have some confidence, I would think, that it's going to go up in value, not down in value, right? So that's one of them that's out there. Might know the small store chain called Walmart, right? They're jumping into the crypto space, right? How it and what they're going to do. They've just started to hire teams and put that together, but they're definitely going full speed ahead with their plans in the crypto space. Second largest mortgage company in the world is now going to accept mortgage payments in crypto, in Bitcoin is the main one, but then they'll expand from there. I mean, think about it. 2 years ago, if I would have told you, hey, you're going to be able to pay your mortgage payment with crypto, you probably would have told me I was crazy, right? Or data companies accepting cryptocurrency as payment. And the list goes on. Visa. Oh my goodness, right? Now, okay, Visa, they've been talking a little bit about getting into crypto. They're starting to allow crypto payments to go through on their Visa cards. They're getting involved with it. But here's the big one. They just purchased an NFT. Now, for the people watching, you may not know what an NFT is. It's a non-fungible token, essentially, right? So it's a digital collectible or a digital asset. And there were these ones created called CryptoPunks. Okay. Now, CryptoPunks were computer generated little images. They were one of the first early NFTs. Some have sold for millions of dollars, 7 million, 6 million, $5 million. Well, Visa just recently purchased an NFT for 150K, one of these CryptoPunks. Now, I don't know, again, big company, fiduciary responsibility. I don't know if you're spending 150K on something unless you've sat down, probably had some smart people, right? Analyze it and say, is this a worthwhile investment for us to get involved with, right? And they've made that decision, yes, to not only get involved in NFTs, but to purchase one at $150,000. Now, I'm not buying $150,000 CryptoPunk, but they have made that decision to do that and get involved with that. So, yeah, I mean, Bob, would you like to purchase a $150,000 CryptoPunk? That's my question, right? And by the way, if you're listening to this, just go to Google, put in CryptoPunks, and you'll see the artwork that the biggest reason why right now they purchased it and it's got the value that it has is because it was one of the early ones, right? It's a piece of the history of cryptocurrency. It's the piece of the history of NFTs. And of course, there's a big audience out there. Of course, 150K is pretty cheap compared to 7 million or 6 million or $5 billion. And I would think that they're betting that this is going to go up in value because of its uniqueness in the history of where cryptocurrency is going. A lot of people are talking about that NFTs, especially in the gaming sense. I actually just did a video on this a few days ago. Right now, they're talking about millions of individuals making a full-time living by simply playing these crypto games where you can earn NFTs in these games and then taking the NFTs and being able to sell them to other people who want to play the game. Another big player that got involved, this goes on forever, McDonald's. Okay, McDonald's is creating NFTs. This is so cool, in a game setting, where if you want to feed your NFT, your online NFT pet or entity, you literally go to McDonald's and you buy food. You eat the food, take a thing of your receipt that you purchased this food, and that feeds your online character. So if you begin to look at the technology, and this is only able to be done because of the blockchain, right? Because of the immutability of it, because of the way that it's set up as a ledger system, that this can be followed through, right? It couldn't be done before with the other technology. The internet by itself is not enough to allow these things to happen. It had to take the formation of the blockchain, which was the start of Bitcoin, and now all of these other cryptocurrencies coming out. A lot of people ask me, why are there so many cryptos? Well, because a lot of them, and the ones that I recommend people should at least take a look at, do your own research, but the ones to look at are ones that have real utility behind them. A game where people are set, because we know online gaming and just games in general, right? PC games, huge properties, tens of billions of dollars these properties are worth, right? Like GT5, these ones that the war ones, right, that people play all the time. They built huge properties. Well, that's going to happen now in this space. And the way that you extract value from or provide value to these games will be through these NFTs. Love potions. The first NFT game concept just broke $1 billion in value for the NFTs that they have out in the marketplace. So here's games that you can purchase an NFT, use it to play the game, and then maybe 3 months later, 4 months later, have the potential to sell it for 2 or 3 times more what you paid for it, right? So you can extract some of that value back. Of course, it could go down in value as well. But even if let's say I spent $20, $30, I played the game for hours, I had fun, I utilized this in my game, I still own it, I still have it. If I could go get half my money back, I'm still ahead of the game, right? I get half of my $30 back. I can now use that to play another game or do something else. So the concept and the idea is that there'll be millions of people that they'll make a living. I don't think they're going to make bazillions of dollars, right? But that will make a full-time living, pay the bills and stuff by going and playing, earning these NFTs, and then selling them to other people who don't have time to necessarily play the game long enough to earn the NFTs, but they need them for the gameplay to move this forward and make it happen. So that's the list continues to go on. I mean, we could probably do a 3-hour show just on the last few weeks of people that have gotten involved in it.
All right. Well, speaking of things that have gone up in value, people are taking note that Bitcoin just crossed $50,000 as we speak. Any thoughts about what that signifies?
It signifies, I believe, that we're going back into the next bull market, which means it's going to rise higher. It's all-time high. Before that was just a little over 60,000. I believe it can go through that now, whether it goes to 80 or 90 or 100. Of course, there's always that rise, hits the top, and then that pullback. But it's as long as it's hitting higher lows and then higher highs each time that it does this, then it's moving in that right direction. I've been talking to a lot of people right now because they think that cryptocurrency is some magic formula where somebody sits down in 5 minutes, writes something, and then creates this magic money. But basically what cryptocurrency is there's the blockchain. The blockchain provides value because of the avoiding the double spend problem, right? That's always been a problem in finance. Immutability, meaning that it can't be hacked, it can't be broken into, and several other problems that blockchain solves. Cryptocurrency is simply the value representation, meaning values created here because it provides it, like with NFTs, being able to prove that I have a one of a kind or one of 100 or one of 200, that I'm able to say I own this and then sell this to someone else. Just the fact of a ledger that says I own something and now I can sell it to somebody else and have title to that, right? Essentially through a wallet address. That's value in itself, right? I believe that's why we have banks, right? We put money in a bank, the bank holds on to it. We pay them to hold on to our money that when we need it, we can do a transaction over here. So we know that provides value. The same thing, banking industry provides us the ability to do transactions, wire money, do all that. We pay them for doing that. That's what the blockchain is providing. That's what cryptocurrencies are providing. That's a lot of where the value is provided for through this. Record keeping, medical records, insurance. I actually just did a review on another token that's an insurance token, and it's to insure digital assets. Cool thing about it, insurance done on a blockchain with a smart contract. I don't need an auditor to come down and look and decide whether I should get paid or not. The contract has the rules of what gets me paid. If those rules are met, automatically that is paid to me. So if I have something, and this is really right now in the crypto space, but I see it eventually being in all other spaces. Let's say a hurricane comes through my neighborhood and I have an insurance policy that's for the value of my house, maybe with a traditional insurance company, but I also have a crypto one in place where I'm paying into it. It doesn't matter how much damage that hurricane does. If I own a business and there's disruption, simply the hurricane hits, the blockchain says, yes, was there a hurricane in that area, which is easily provable, right? Not through me. I don't provide the proof. It looks and says, yes. It automatically then transfers that cryptocurrency to my wallet where I have access to the funds within minutes of a hurricane hitting, not weeks or days or months having to go through that process. So when you look at the blockchain, and that's why all these people are getting involved, right? That's why Walmart is getting involved. That's why Visa's buying NFTs. That's why, Palantir is getting involved in these things. They're not getting involved because it's some magic money that some, kid in his basement is sitting there formulating. They're getting involved because they realize that the value proposition of the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years is in this, the value that the blockchain provides. That is a very important part to get across to people, because right now people see the speculative side of cryptocurrency. They see, Shiba Inu getting created and it's a meme coin and it grows up overnight to billions of dollars. And it's hard to understand why. There's a lot of noise out there. The goal is to look through that noise and say, what are the companies that are utilizing the blockchain and cryptocurrency to create value propositions where people will say, not the cryptocurrency, but the service they provide. That is what I am willing to pay for. So if somebody's willing to pay for the service, then the cryptocurrency that goes along with it will have value, because the service will create revenue that will create value to that cryptocurrency.
Right. So right now there's a lot of trust placed in crypto in the absence of regulation, but we know that the SEC and others are looking at putting in place maybe regulations, maybe not. What's the current state of their efforts there? Do you know?
It's government, first of all, so it's going to move much slower than we would think that it would, even if there's an emergency in place right now. I know that when crowdfunding first came up, we were looking at possibly getting involved in equity-based crowdfunding. It took them 5 years to figure out the rules for crowdfunding, right? So I think it's going to be a slow process with what they're doing. Knowing government, they'll probably overreach with the regulation that's happening, but it's definitely something that's necessary. We're in the space. I don't want over regulation, but I don't mind regulation because we are a legal entity, right? We're moving things forward. We're forming as a DAO in Wyoming. So there's a balance there between too much and not enough. There are a lot of people that are getting taken advantage of in the space, and that is where I think the regulation needs to come in. I hope that the cryptocurrency community, not just companies, cryptocurrency companies like ourselves, but people and cryptocurrency companies can come together and form some type of self-regulating body that has some teeth to it, that would then go in and say, okay, well, regulators are thinking about doing this. What can we do to clean it up before they get the rules through? Because we know it's going to take time, right? Yeah. It always does, right? They've got to come up with the rules, have committees and have this and have that, and then implement them. And then once you pass it, then you've got to come up with all the fine details in it. So I think in the meantime, and it's one of the things with Trubadger we're going to be looking at is starting a nonprofit entity that will take both companies. All of our companies that we're launching and getting involved with will be a part of it. I will be launching this in the next couple of months. Don't have a name for it yet, but it'll be done, of course, on the smart contract, on the blockchain. So participation from individuals and companies will be available for us to hopefully tackle three issues. One is the regulatory. One is the education on the industry, getting wallets set up, because it can be quite a task right now. But and I'll talk about that in a second. That's the opportunity right now, is that it's very difficult, or it can be difficult, to set up and get into crypto. When it's easy to get into crypto, a lot of the opportunity has been diminished, right? It's still there because there's still opportunity in the internet today, and it's been 25 plus years, right, since the internet really started to take off. But there was definitely a lot more opportunity in 98, 97, right? If you got involved in some of those companies, tremendous returns in that time. And then the third one is to prevent scams from people getting harmed in the crypto. So those would be the three target agendas for this organization to tackle on an ongoing basis, including developing software that can help people identify fraud wallets and fraud opportunities and sites and smart contracts and things like that. So that is one of our goals, is to get something like that set up in the next couple of months and then start building that out.
Yeah, certainly in the world of securities, there's already a model for SROs in FINRA, formerly, NASD, and of course there's been a role for the SEC in terms of investor protection as a government agency. It would strike me that it's a much needed thing, given the scams that we've previously discussed, and the vast number of people that do want to get involved in crypto. Peter, talk a little bit. You mentioned a second ago the difficulty in investing in crypto. Walk us through that.
Yeah, so we have Zoom set up, and we actually take new people that have never done crypto before, and we help them get their wallet set up, help them, buy their first crypto, that type of stuff. And in order to get them through that process, we need to get them to download 3 apps. And I don't want this to scare people away, because I tell you, as I just said a second ago, that's why there's so much opportunity in this. If you got involved in the companies or in the internet, and you learned how to build websites or do something in the internet when it was difficult, when there was dial-up, waiting 8 minutes to log in, and then websites took 5 minutes for a page to load. Those are the people that really set themselves up for opportunity, right? Because once it gets simple, everybody's doing it, a lot more competition, everybody's flooding in. So I believe that's why the opportunity is here right now, is because of the difficulty of getting set up. So in order to get people set up, we've got to help them set up a MetaMask wallet, and then we've got to help them set up a Trust wallet, and then either crypto.com or one of the other, or Cash App is another great one to get onboarded. And then, of course, all of these need verification. So email verification, photo IDs, right? All the KYC stuff that needs to be done. So it can take a good hour to an hour and a half in order to get set up. But that is why there's 20x and 50x and 100x returns in the space right now, because of the difficulty that it takes to go through the process. And that's why we have taken, I don't know, we may be the only crypto company right now, and I hope some others join, that will have Zoom rooms set up where people can go to the Zoom room and have a live person. Most people they have videos and different ways to walk through. But what we find is with the video ones, it's hard for people to follow. It's hard for them to get through the process. We'll have people share their screens and then walk them through the part, up until they get to their passwords, and then we have them shut that off, and then, and then get back on, and we actually walk them through that process. It's a lot of work. It's a heavy investment on our part and resources, but we believe it's extremely important to help more people get involved in crypto. We've been on a mission for the last 6 years of trying to figure out ways to solve there's a crisis in the US coming up where there's 30 million plus people the age of 55 or older that have less than $25,000 in savings for retirement. That's a bad thing. If you guys, right? If you're listening to this, that is terrible, right? And so our goal was to try to help, and I don't know, we can't help all 30 million, but I wanted to try to help 80, 100, 200, 500,000 people through building residual sources of income. And I believe that the crypto space is the best way for a lot of those people to be able to get out, because if they haven't saved up $25,000 yet in retirement savings, they probably don't have a lot of disposable income. So investing over time and getting a smaller returns is probably not going to be a solution for them. However, because the risk that's in the crypto space, they can lose money as much as make money. And if you lose it, then you're even set. You're better off getting a 6% on your money somewhere else if you're going to lose it. And that was the formation of Trubadger, is to put together a system where the likelihood of success is much greater versus the likelihood of loss. So you don't have to we all know that you don't have to bat 100% in investing. If you can hit 80% or 75 or 60% more wins than losses, you're in good shape and you can grow a portfolio and you can head in that direction. So that's our goal. And that's the mission that we're on with Trubadger, is to make that happen.
Right. So in the 2 or 3 minutes that we have left, there was a recent report out from Deloitte that said in the next decade or so that crypto could become a fiat currency. Any thoughts about?
I believe it said, wait, do they think it was going to replace fiat currency? And the answer was yes, that they thought it was, and it is going to. And there's going to be different types of crypto. There will be centralized cryptocurrencies. The US will more than likely put out a centralized cryptocurrency, right? Where instead of using cash, we know that El Salvador right now is adopting Bitcoin as their main currency, right? So they're actually on track to get that set up and put in place. They'll be the first country where it will be a national currency, right? In that respect. China right now, even though they're giving cryptocurrency a hard time, they are building their own blockchain and their own national cryptocurrency. So you'll have two sides to this. One is centralized cryptocurrencies and one is decentralized cryptocurrencies. And both of them will survive. It won't be one centralized ones come out, they push the decentralized ones out. China now has tried 3 times to, let's say, if not eliminate, tamper down Bitcoin. And every time they do, it comes back stronger than when they tried to do it. And I think that's why so many governments out there have not tried to stop it, because they've seen that anytime somebody tries to stop it, it doesn't weaken it. It actually strengthens it. And that's the amazing part about the whole thing. Normally, government's going to stop it. All right, its days are numbered. Well, again, India's tried it. Several places have tried it. In every single place that has tried to stop cryptocurrency, it gets stronger each and every single time. There's always maybe a little downturn in it when it first happens, but it comes roaring back. China banned mining. And I don't think there's ever been a recovery as fast as majority of the mining was in China, okay, cryptocurrency for Bitcoin. And overnight, China said no more mining. As a matter of fact, they just cut off the hydropower to the miners. It took less than a couple of weeks to replace the entire hash power. That's the power of a decentralized system, right? Centralized system, you would then have to figure out how to move it and get it done. In a decentralized system, other people with spare capacity just go, well, if they can't do it here, I'll do it here. And they set their rigs up and they're up and mining and they're up and going. So the power of it, that's the power of the whole cryptocurrency thing. A network of spread out computers, power goes out in an area. How many people have went to go, we did it yesterday, went to use our credit card and they said, do you have any cash? We said, why? Go, our credit card machine's down. That's because it's on a centralized server. That centralized server goes down, then the service goes down, right? In a decentralized world, it's on a network. The entire network would have to go down to have that disruption in service. I'm telling you, the power of the blockchain, the power of what represents it, cryptocurrency, is a huge movement that's taking place.
Well, Peter, as you know, it's always a pleasure chatting with you about what's going on in the world of crypto. And I so look forward to the next time that we get a chance to chat about what's the latest in that world.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me.